Castle Crashers is a game developed by a company that has only made 5 games, and their studio's name is a clear indication that their schlong is infinitely bigger than yours, and you should feel sad about it. Developed by Mr. Fulp and a potential rat paladin named Dan, we play as the legendary video game protagonist, with an S, several different colored knights and their business associates. But for the sake of this adventure, we'll focus on one of those knights specifically, that being the orange flavor, on his quest to save the land from a wizard that stole some super cool meth crystal from the king, and in the process of returning the king's crystal meth, he'll rescue the princesses of the land by defeating many big baddies such as my dad, Earl and his large fists of fury, an ugly bastard, and the Ice King himself. During his journey, the Orange Man will meet many people that will either help him on his adventure or try to kill him, such as the keepers of Barney Beekeeper herself, men with bumholes for faces, Icemen with bumhole for faces, yes, 3 color, shut up, the entire population of Florida, post-swamp, as well as the demigods of YouTube. This game is an indie classic that has gone down in the history books as a forgotten gem, one that has stood the test of time for being one of the greatest Xbox indie titles of all time. I've wanted to make a video on this title for years, and now that I make real income from a third-party source known only as my local Taco Bell's bathroom, I'm now ready to do so. So grab your popcorn because I'm about to run you through one of the greatest arcade games of the 2000s, a game that to this day still hasn't received its fully deserved sequel, and a game that 90% of gamers everywhere have all but forgotten about. This is Castle Crashers. Before I go any further, allow me to educate the viewers who don't know what Castle Crashers is, but chances are you probably found this video because you know what this game is, so you could skip this, but you shouldn't, because I need that watch time. Castle Crashers is a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up fighting game, with the main premise being to battle your way through waves of enemies to save the 4 princesses scattered throughout the lands, and to retrieve some ancient crystal that was stolen by a powerful wizard. You accomplish this by playing as the 4 knights, or 1 because I don't have any friends to play with, who were appointed by the king to safeguard the kingdom. I'm not really sure why all the Grey Knights couldn't do this. I guess the Grey Knights just failed the vibe check. There's loads of things about Castle Crashers that make it stand out from other games in its class, and in order to explain that, we must jump into our first segment of the video, that being the gameplay of Castle Crashers. Cause, well, I can't really explain this game unless I talk about the gameplay. Unless if you're just sold on the idea that it's a fighting game, which I guess proves that you just want to beat your friends in a non-fisting way. Castle Crashers is full of unique gameplay elements that many games don't replicate nowadays, and that allows for loads of replayability and exciting gameplay. Every character you play as has their own types of magic. For example, the Red Knight uses electricity, the Orange Knight uses fire, the Green Knight uses poison, and the Blue Knight uses ice. This is further expanded later on when you unlock new characters, as they too have unique forms of magic unique to them. Your characters will also level up by gaining XP, which you earn by bashing down enemies for their lunch money. You get points when you level up, and much like an RPG leveling system, you can use these to upgrade your stats, whether it's your strength, your defense, your agility, or magic for new magic combos and damage. Upgrading your magic and leveling up allows you to learn more combos and attacks to use for both magic and normal attacks, making for some really cool fights and unique battle strategies. You can also find weapons on your adventures, which can also get you extra amounts of the previously mentioned stats, but it can also give you negative stats as well. Some weapons also have special effects, like critting out enemies, shocking and or stunning enemies, or even setting them on fire. All of these weapons do have level restrictions, so make sure you are the right level before using them. Pets, on the other hand, do not have level restrictions, and much like weapons, you'll find pets scattered throughout the world for you to find, and provide benefits to you when you use them. Some of these pets can bring you food to heal yourself when you're in a tough spot. Others give you more XP from bashing heads in, and some can charge into and knock down enemies. Some can even breathe fire and poop out money. Crazy what 2008 brought to gaming, huh? I did mention replayability, and Castle Crashers does this in a way that you may not expect. Upon completing the game with any of the 4 original knights, you will unlock a new character. And if you complete the game with that new character, you will unlock a 3rd and final character. You can repeat this for a bunch of different characters, and in total, there are 31 total playable characters to choose from. Some of these characters are unlocked by completing the game with certain characters. Others are obtained through completing specific arenas that are tailored to that character specifically, or perhaps completing a stage that those characters are in. Some are also unlocked by owning other behemoth-made games, such as BattleBlock Theater or Alien Hominid. You also have some post-game content in the form of Insane Mode, which, you guessed it, is insane. It's basically just the base game, but with its difficulty kicked up to 11. And to help on your journey into Insane Mode, there is the Insane Store. Here you will find some of the best weapons and pets in the game, but it's gonna cost you a hefty penny, so you may want to start grinding. I am also not really sure what this statue is meant to be. He just kind of says how he has a deep soul and he wishes he can move. Me too, buddy. Me too. Let's not forget about the items that you can purchase in these shops that you can find in the world. These items can help you out when you're in a pinch, whilst also providing tools to help you explore and find new items. You have health potions to heal yourself for when you get smashed in by the Necromancer's army at Mach 5 speed, or sandwiches that turn you into a big, hairy, sweaty men, allowing you to become skyward bound for about 3 seconds flat. How about bombs that allow you to blow yourself up, but to also find hidden areas throughout different levels? A shame it doesn't let me blow up on YouTube though. You also have some other items that you get naturally, like your bow, which you can use to shoot enemies, but I mean, who's gonna use it when you have magic? Let's be honest. You also have a shovel, which you can use to dig up buried treasure. Just look for the marked X, and you'll find it in no time. And no, that does not mean that one chick and or guy that you've been eyeing up. Not that, that's not the X. In general, that's about it for the gameplay of Castle Crashers. Maximizing your combos is your best strategy. Just make sure to keep the enemy in the air, and you're gonna be just fine. Regardless, let's move into some other segments that I think are worthy of discussion. Let's kick things off with the world of Castle Crashers, and the many environments you'll be running through on your journey. When it comes to environments, the Behemoth went out of the park with making sure that there was a large variety of different regions to explore. It's still amazing to me that this game is 15 years old, and yet it was so ahead of its time. Let's run it back from the beginning of the game to the end of all of the areas that you will explore. We first have the Fortress, which is just a castle where everybody hangs out. They also really like to dance. I wish I was invited though. Let's be honest though, I'd probably embarrass the shiz out of myself, but hey, it'd be funny, and that's content. We also have the Mud Holes. Yes, I know that's what the song's called, but don't worry about it. A battlefield that has been torn to shreds by the invading forces. It's here that we meet my good old friend, the Barbarian. You know, the one that loves to scream really loudly and doesn't give a shred of care about the surroundings. Yeah, that Barbarian. We can't forget about the forest just outside the heart of the kingdom. They're quite calming and relaxing. That was until this extremely buff bumhole guy showed up to deliver some instant justice for trespassing on his sacred lands. Admittedly, it gets a bit darker not long after. Lots of different animals decided to shiz themselves and the camera feels the need to show it every single time, but hey, let's not focus on that. The rivers to the north are interesting. I do love getting railed off my imaginary boat by what appears to be a green version of Bruce from Finding Nemo. This section reminds me of when I lost my way many times in my previous videos. Even these guys get my vibe. Just sit and do absolutely nothing. I love it. This cave is, kinda dang. Cool castle level, although I must question why I'm the only survivor after everybody proceeded to land in said castle. They just couldn't accept that I'm better, huh? Do you love running away from your problems? Well, boy, do I have the level for you. Welcome to what appears to be a volcano area. I'm impressed that much like Link, that I'm not slowly losing health by being in extreme heat. Zelda better make me some Flamebreaker armor. I could use some right about now. I had to pay a visit to Elon Musk's warehouse of doom. It was so bad that I sent myself into space to be with this Tesla Roadster. Don't mind me just killing several Japanese men on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean. Pay no attention to this. Oh boy, welcome to the desert, otherwise known as Sin City. Otherwise known as my house. I sure hope nothing bad goes wrong here. Okay, so maybe saying that aliens were a bit gay was a bad idea. How am I supposed to know? You know, I didn't think that aliens were this crazy, but when they're willing to self-destruct their own spaceship to kill one white guy, then it's safe to assume that this is a practical joke, right? By the way, the desert level ends with a game of volleyball. This game is incredible. Welcome to the heart of Florida, population 12, where we have to kill many people, such as the moss-covered ninjas and extremely jacked skeletons. This is what the people of Florida must do to survive, and honestly, I'm a bit scared. Florida's darkest secrets hold some strange fish creatures that just burp hard Mountain Dew all day and poke you with their long sticks. It's not fun here, I want to go home. Oh sweet, it's a mountain, maybe I can finally leave home. Oh crap, now I'm in Antarctica. The bumhole women are here. Wait, that sounds bad. Let me try that again. The better looking women have shown up, and just like any Sigma male, I would absolutely hugged only one of them. The rest died of cringe at the sight of this man. After shivering my balls off, it naturally makes sense to go to, well, I don't know, thumping space to lose my oxygen and die in a coma before I reach the last boss? At least the YouTube demigods are here to whisk me away from this hell. The world of Castle Crashers is very diverse and has loads of hidden Easter eggs and collectibles to find, and that's one of the game's many quirks that helps it stand out from the other games in its segment. I'm shocked that no other games have tried to replicate this, and that's me saying knowing that some companies have probably tried doing this and proceeded to fail massively. Now, however, I want to touch on a smaller segment of the video that I feel like I need to talk about because, let's be honest, this part is just really good. So let's talk about the music of Castle Crashers, a game that has a soundtrack that still goes hard 15 years after its release. I'm not really sure how to describe the soundtrack of this game. It's got a lot of different vibes to it, mostly because the OST is designed to work with the environments and bosses throughout the game. It's a soundtrack that I still come back to listen to occasionally, because let's be honest, once we hear these songs, they're stuck in your head. Whether this be the calming and adventurous tones of Flutie, the happy and cheerful backdrop of the forest with Jumper, the scary but still upbeat tone of Space Pirates, to the intense but beautiful fight with the Conehead Groom in the song Till Death Do You Part, the fast-paced action in the oceans whilst Chaos Japan rings in your ears, the cold and helplessness mixed with a small amount of happiness that Snow World brings to the table with Winter's Bliss, the nervous and heart-racing action of the final confrontation, or the excitement of completing the level after a long-fought battle in Race Around the World. Castle Crashers has a beautiful soundtrack for being both an arcade indie title and for being a title released in 2008. It ticks all of the boxes of having tracks that excite the player but also make them cautious. It lets the player know what's coming up by saying, hey, you're about to face a boss, or hey, this level's a bit spooky, you might want to get a pair of pants ready, maybe a few potions of lube while you're at it. Or simply put it, the game will say, take a breather and relax, because this is where life is at its best, or something like that. But with the game's music out of the way, there's one more segment that I want to touch on before we close things out. Castle Crashers has a whopping 21 bosses, each with their own set of mechanics that make this game a treat to learn. So let's talk about them in chronological order and see if I can hold my sanity through it all. This is going to be a long one. Let's get it. The War Machine! The first major boss of the game is just a vehicle that loves to throw bombs at you. I'm not sure why this thing needed minions to help it, because it seems like it was fine on its own, but hey, I ain't gonna judge. The Barbarian Boss! Yes, that's its real name. Meet the big, chunky, kinda round, and not tall at all boss that guards the exit to the rest of the kingdom. I like to think that this guy is the final boss of YouTube. His face screams, you're not gonna succeed, and most importantly, he has a spiked shield. This is to repel you into the Shadow Realm for when you try to screw with the algorithm. This boss does a big slam, so don't get hit by it. He also drinks a shiz ton of beer, and then proceeds to do a rocket-propelled backwards long jump after downing an entire can of it. I'm sorry, but what? This boss is fairly simple. If you die on this, then you're cringe. Troll Mother! Hey look, it's the boss that perfectly replicates what the average male's armpits looks like. It also shows exactly what will happen if you don't receive any sunlight for several weeks. You just become a bush, that's pretty much about it. This boss loves to run around really fast, and other than that, it's the only thing that this boss has going for him, so we're just gonna skip ahead. Giant Troll! Aw crap, it's the FBI. Run! This mother duck actually makes two different appearances. The first being in this getaway chase in the forest, and the second getaway chase after the Conehead Groom battle. But he's not the only boss that shows up twice. More on that later. He doesn't really do much, just like his mother, as he only just runs at you. I will give him credit that in his second form, he shoots lasers out of his eyes, but you can just deflect it with the shield, so did he really gain anything out of it? No, he didn't.
Catfish!
Holy crap, guys, I've just found the newest catfish. Tune in for the next episode on MTV Live this Saturday. Okay, screw this bit. This boss is here just to make sure that we all know full well what in the ever-living hell is behind that computer screen for when you're talking to your fake ex-girlfriend. I'm not sure why he has wings. I don't really think he can fly, so that's a bit weird. This boss loves to swipe at you as if he's Swiper ready to come for that bum. Just block his fists of fury with a shield, and you're good to go. Watch out for the swimming attack. Exciting, I know.
The bear boss!
You know, it's strange to me that someone of my own kin would be a boss, but then again, he's probably the only one that's gonna kick bum and chew bubblegum, and he's all out of bum. This boss is simple, provided that you dodge his winter tornadoes. I'm not really sure why he has these, but hey, I ain't gonna judge.
Pee-pee Strello! I just said pee-pee.
Welcome to the boss that continues to be in my nightmares and will be staying there for all eternity. And this is for 3 reasons and 3 reasons only. 1, this boss's main attack is taking a giant shiz on you. Don't stand in it, it's poisonous. 2, he loves to deliver the big lick with his massive tongue. By the way, if this was in insane mode and you had less than 1,000 hit points, this tongue attack would just kill you in a single hit, so you better have some defense. And lastly, number 3, this thing is a bat, and bats caused COVID-19. Okay, on second thought, maybe I can remove it from my nightmares.
Conehead Groom!
Welcome back to the Wedding Crash. I hope you brought some popcorn, a couple carpet bombs, as well as Nile Red to make something so devastating that it wipes the floor with this performance. The only compliment that I give this boss is with his drip, because Jesus, my guy, this drip is on fire. You're making me blush. This fight is actually slightly unique, not because of the mechanics, more so because of how this boss hits you. He moves quite fast, and it's pretty easy to miscalculate a hit for, and he will just come in and rail you. When he feels like it though, he'll start shooting cannonballs out of his piano to try and kill you. I'm not really sure why he wants to ruin his wedding ceremony with bombs, but hey, it works, I guess. Also, his friend Cyclops legit was taking a massive shiz, only to see his bestie die and then go into a Game of Rage episode. I think you can see where this is going.
Cyclops!
I hope you like getting fisted with knives, because that's what this fight is teaching us today. Helpful tip, don't stop running. When he gets pissed, just run faster. Just drink some G Fuel and start sprinting like the fan reception backlash to the Unity incident. At least he throws himself into some lava to end his existence. I'm sure glad we won't see him and his bestie later.
The Dragon and Sock Puppet!
Wait, what? Yeah, so this is an actual boss, and it's so confusing that I thought I just came straight out of a YouTube poop made from 2006. This boss really only has 2 things going on, which makes a lot of sense given what we're dealing with. I mean, what do you expect a freaking sock's gonna do? Rub its sweat on you? The sock throws boulders down this hill that you gotta dodge, and the dragon breathes fire, like a lot of fire. He ate way too much Taco Bell recently, and now has gonorrhea. Get me out of here before I actually commit seppuku.
The Industrial Machine!
After breaking through Elon Musk's warehouse of doom, we meet a boss that some ugly bastard is controlling. Honestly, why isn't he the boss? I just complain at him for a bit, and then side with Garnt as to why ugly bastards are objectively bad in all forms of media. The machine spawns these towers that rise from the graves to shoot you, and makes a walking hand move towards you that just dubsteps on your face. There's also a flamethrower, because naturally, and of course there's the old man laughing at you occasionally, letting you know that you better subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And it'll help me escape this hellhole that is this boss.
The alien ship!
Oh yes, the ship where I can meet all of the minions. Right, run while you still can. This ship is a neat callback to Alien Hominid, but let's be frank here, these aliens cannot be this stupid, right? I could legit be level 1 and solo all of these guys because they're dying in like 1 hit. Like, I feel like this was heavily undertuned. God, I'm talking like this is world employee harassment. It's a cool level, but the 60-second GTFO timer kinda sucks. Just saying.
Corn!
Yep. Welcome to what I call the most memorable boss in the game, and I think that's just my personal bias talking, because this is the one boss I think of when I think of bosses from this game. I mean, let's be real, would you forget a corn boss that screams every time it shows up? Plus, you're getting free popcorn out of him. It's a win-win. Just watch out for his spin attack. I doubt that it's going to kill you, but hey, do it too much, and you might become one of the killer points. And although the population of Florida is there to help, they're currently being chased by alligators and are too busy, so...
Medusa!
Holy shiz, it's one of the babes in all of gaming. As a 9-year-old playing this game in 2010, yes, this was Smash material. Nowadays, I'm like, yeah, sorry, I'll smash some anime chicks instead. That shiz kinda looks odd, not gonna lie. This boss loves to shoot poison at you through the many snakes on her head. She's also just kind of annoying. I just wish they did something better with this boss. But hey, at least for 2008, she was pretty hot.
The Frost King!
Welcome to the guy that literally told us how to clear his castle, because he just wants to die, I guess. I mean, we ain't called the Castle Crashers for nothing, am I right? He also really likes to laugh, except unlike the ugly bastard from earlier, he does it like every time he shows up. Watch out for the falling icicles. I'm sure that not a single one of them can hit you, thanks to the beauty of 2008 game physics. I hope you also like ice physics, by the way.
What the fuck is this?
This is the only part in the entire game where that's a thing. The exception there is the snow arena, but I don't want to get destroyed by 27 Eskimos at once, so I'm gonna pass on that one, Chief. Also, he screams like a baby when he dies, so that's cool, I guess.
Painter!
One of my favorite bosses in the game is a guy who looks like he just came from a Bob Ross cosplay contest. He loves to draw, just like the 7-year-old in kindergarten with just the slightest bit of brain damage. Although admittedly, you'd think that for someone in terms of height and width who looks to be in his 20s, that he can actually draw what is definitely capable of being nominated for a Kid's Choice Award. There's never a clear reason as to why this boss is here in the canon lore for this game, but hey, some things don't need to be canon, and to have this boss right near the end of the game is a nice touch. Although I couldn't help but think that I was extremely high on LSD during this entire fight.
Undead Cyclops plus his dead friend!
See, I told you they'd be back. Now equipped with the coffin of his dead friend as a baseball bat, Cyclops is ready to send us to the Shadowlands. Although, because of the fact that he's holding a 100-pound case in his arms, this somehow made this fight incredibly easy. It's kind of cool to see his now undead friend come out of the coffin and chase you, while Cyclops tries to smash your face in, but this fight kind of falls a bit flat for me. It makes the previous Cyclops fight feel way harder than this one, and it just leaves a strange sting in my view of the game. Regardless, that cannot be said for this next boss.
The Necromancer!
Welcome to the boss that is, in my opinion, the hardest in this game. And it's mostly because of the massive gauntlet that he puts you through. He basically says you're facing the entire enemy lineup again, but in the span of 3 minutes and not 3 hours, and summons some pretty beefy boys to come and mess you up. When you finally do kill all of them with their head banging to the music, holy shit, this go hard, why does this go so hard? You get to face the Necromancer in one-on-one combat. He actually plays like a real knight, blocking your attacks and only occasionally using magic. Sounds relatable. It's actually a pretty good fight, and it's a solid end fight to what is about to come next.
The Evil Wizard!
I hope you're ready for a fight that goes for so long that I genuinely had to question if I was in an N-tier heroic raid boss in World of Employee Harassment. This fight's runtime gives Thumpin' Spine of Deathwing a run for its money. Either that or literally any fight from Final Fantasy. You're probably wondering, Panda, surely it cannot be that bad, right? This fight is 6 phases long. And most raid fights usually have 3 max, sometimes 4 with Mythic. It's actually funny too, because most of these phases are all unique. Alright, let's break this down. Phase 1, destroy these 4 crystals of meth that fly around the room. Oh yeah, by the way, it's time-gated. Love it already. Phase 2, you're using your magic when his shield is blue, and your melee attacks when his shield is red. Okay, simple enough. I was expecting some kind of weird joke there, but okay. Phase 3, he's now a floating bubble, otherwise known as a fat guy, and you just gotta hit him until he dies. And then you're like, that's it? Okay, let me just go get the chest, but then psych! He's now a massive fucking spider ripped straight from Hogwarts, ready to thrust you into a spiner anus at a moment's notice. He's also sending more YouTube demigods to dispose of you, so don't die. Get him out of this phase, it's now phase 5, but it's actually phase 3, the second coming. Get wrecked. Phase 6, he's now got a thumping fire sword ripped straight from hell that shoots missiles down from the sky to kill you. And, by the way, make sure you dodge his barrels of fire. It's up to you to finish him off once and for all from here on out. What is this fight, people? This has got to be one of the longest fights I have played in my life. And that is coming from somebody who played during Sepulchre of the first ones in retail WoW. That whole raid was a boss in of its own, right? I'm just glad that we're at the end now. I've saved all the princesses, safely returned to the castle, and I can finally get some of that sweet alone time with the princess.
So thank God that's over. I mean, it's over, right? There's not more, right? I mean...
So, what are my final thoughts on Castle Crashers? This game is a timeless gem of a title, one that has stood the test of time for being a game that many can come back to and play with their friends time and time again. Its gameplay is simple yet exciting, requiring some real thought on how to build your character stats as you progress, as well as making it simple to understand and not telling you that you need an engineering degree to know how to play the game. The enemy variety is both strong and unique, both with their attack combos and their many different types of magic. This goes for the environments of the game as well. With so many different places to visit, it quite literally feels like we're racing around the world. I had to make that joke, okay? The music is some of the most memorable music I have heard in my entire life of playing video games. It is music that you will still hear being put into YouTube videos today, 15 years after this game came out. It's cheerful, it's frightening, and it's full of adventure and thrills. The bosses are also pretty great too. Sure, they might not have that much going on, but I love all of them equally, and I constantly find myself wanting to go back and fight them over and over again. The post-game additions with Insane Mode and additional character playthroughs is a game changer. Whether you're wanting just a little bit more of a challenge, or simply wanting to replay the game again with a new coat of paint, there's something for everybody in the endgame of Castle Crashers. I'm urging you that if you have a PC, a Switch, or an Xbox, buy this game. This is a game that everybody needs to play at least once in their lives, to see what gaming was like at a simpler time, one without microtransactions, or strange game modes or gimmicks, or just weird scandals. Castle Crashers is straight to the point and honest with the player. It's a 2D side-scroller fighting game done right, and it deserves its sequel. Whether the behemoth do that anytime soon is up for debate, but we can still continue to keep pestering them until they do. Regardless, it's unfortunately time to end. My name is PandaPowerSauce, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.